Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, this is CBS. Canadian Breakfast Stout is an 11.7% Imperial Stout from Founders Brewing Company in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is it, folks. It's finally here. CBS is probably one of the most sought after and one of the hardest to find Michigan beers right now. This was last released in 2011 and scored a 4.68 out of 5 on Beer Advocate. And I think I probably would have totally missed out on this if I hadn't bought a ticket to pick it up in the Grand Rapids tap room. In the past, I've kind of passed on buying tickets because it seems like the Barrel Age series from Founders haven't really been that hard to find, but I'm glad I didn't skip this one because I've been all over town forwards and backwards, and either I just missed it or the places I went to just plain haven't gotten any yet. I will guarantee you right now the last thing your local craft beer store guy wants to hear is, "Do you have any CBS?" I could get into my feelings on that, but you're here to hear about the beer, right? So CBS is a sixth and last Founders Barrel Age series for 2017, and it is an Imperial Stout brewed with chocolate and coffee aged in maple syrup bourbon barrels. Now, I've heard this isn't great for aging because it loses that maple syrup flavor relatively quickly, and what you're left with is pretty close to KBS, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? But you're here because you want that maple syrup flavor and you want CBS. So enough with the jibber jabber. Let's get on with the suki suki. So let's take a real quick look at this bottle. As with all the Founders Barrel Age series, the gold cap kind of tells you that it's one of those special bottles. On the front here, it is a Royal Mounted Canadian Police officer people. Being as close to Canada as I am, you'd think I would know what the actual name is, but he is on his horse. Simply CBS on the front in red, has a nice red kind of foil outline on the label. It says on the front here, like I said earlier, Imperial Stout brewed with chocolate and coffee, aged in maple syrup bourbon barrels, 11.7% alcohol by volume. And I just literally picked this up on Sunday. So this was, by the time this review goes up, it was just, well, I picked it up Saturday, so it was just 3 days ago. It's been such a blur, I can't remember what day I picked it up. So let's go ahead and open it up. I'm going to grab my snifter, my little goblet here, and I'm going to open it up. And I can already smell that, kind of that syrupy bourbon, right? I'm not close to it, but let's give it a smell. Yeah, I smell a lot of bourbon right off the bat, which, bourbon, the Barrel Age series, right? Bourbon. A lot of bourbon right off the bat, a little bit of chocolate, a hint of chocolate. I'm sniffing out the tip of a bottle, so let's pour it and see what we get. I'm going to kind of do a little bit more aggressive pour than I'm used to doing. And that head. Okay, so first off, the beer itself is dark. I can't see through this. It's got like maybe a hint, kind of plummy browny kind of color, but it is dark. And the head is just as dark. It's kind of like a coffee colored head to it. It's nice and thick, nice and dense. It's got some bigger bubbles on the top here, but a lot of really dense, tightly packed bubbles. Let's give it a smell. Just looking at it, it looks like it's going to be delicious. So I'm picking up not as much on the bourbon as I picked up just straight out of the bottle. Picking up on a little bit of chocolate scent here. Maybe a little bit of a cherry. Kind of a sweet, maybe bitter, kind of fruity scent, which I'm thinking is kind of the cherry. Not picking up on a lot of the maple syrup. Let's give it a taste. All right, guys, I think that this one was worth waiting for. So what I'm getting really straight off the bat, obviously, is a lot of the bourbon. but it's not the typical kind of Founders Barrel Age Series bourbon where it's a really strong punch of bourbon. It has a strong punch of bourbon to it, but it's kind of tempered with that maple syrup kind of taste to it. It's kind of a sweeter bourbon-y taste. I mean, bourbon on its own is usually, I think of it as generally being kind of a sweet taste. And this has a little bit of a sweeter kind of, like I said, has that little additive maple syrupy kind of taste to it. So right off the bat, it's the bourbon. It's a little bit of that sweetness from the maple syrup. And then I get that dark chocolate kind of taste on the back end. And it's got like a lingering kind of fruitiness to it. The mouthfeel is awesome. It's creamy. It's nice and kind of lush. Let me get one more taste of this because this was worth waiting for. Yeah, it's you get that, like I said, you get that bourbon right out of the gate, right off the bat, right? That's one of my favorite things to say. Right off the bat, you get that bourbon, you get that sweetness of the maple syrup, you get kind of that dark chocolate that kind of rolls in, kind of a, not really, to borrow from one of my beer review buddies, Tyler Finkbeiner, a lot of the things I notice he says fudgy a lot. I'm not going to say this is fudgy. I pick up a chocolate. I don't pick up a fudginess to it. But yeah, I'm getting that chocolate. And then on the back end, I'm getting like this kind of lingering sweetness, which I would think is kind of more of it's kind of like a fruity sweetness. Maybe that cherry, that's where the cherry kind of comes in. But this, like I said before, this was worth the wait. And I can see what all the fuss is about. You know, like I said, it's been since 2011 since this was last brewed. So, you know, Founders, these people have been waiting a long time to get this, and it has to age a long time, but it's been worth the wait. I really liked Backwoods Bastard this year, and I think this one, I would say Backwoods Bastard has been my favorite of the Barrel Age series this year. This is really close. It's neck and neck. I don't know if, I just think the Backwoods Bastard this year was exceptional compared to previous years, and CBS here is really close. They're stylistically different enough that I think you could just say that they're really kind of even playing field this year. Backwoods Bastard and CBS tie it up for me from Founders in the Barrel Age 2017 series. And the kind of longer I sit with this, I almost pick up like a cinnamony kind of taste at the very tail end, as it kind of sits in my mouth and I kind of process the flavors a little bit more. I almost do get this faint kind of cinnamon taste to it, and it just kind of tops it all off. All right, friends, that is CBS from Founders Brewing, the sixth and final of their 2017 Barrel Age series. Now that Backwoods Bastard is going to be an all-year beer for Founders, what do you think it's going to get replaced with in 2018's Barrel Age series? We know KBS will most likely be back, and Founders is going to be standing up another 6 Barrel Age series releases in 2018. So do you have any thoughts on what that lineup's going to look like? Tell me all about it in the comments below, and while you're down there, why not like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Don't keep all this beery goodness to yourselves. You're better than that. You can also find links in the description of this video to my Facebook page, my Instagram, my Twitter, and my blog at girafftherapy.com. So until next time, I'm Sean from Giraffe Therapy. Thanks for stopping by, and remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries, and don't forget to treat yourself to a little giraffe therapy. Thanks for watching. Cheers.